Broklahomies.
Hello, guys. This is podcast number 27. I just had a sip of coffee right before I started that, so I'm like kind of about to choke on it. Danny,
Yo,
what is today's theme for the podcast?
alternative ways to make money.
Yeah, and just to clarify, this isn't like alternative ways to make money in the sense of like starting a business or anything like that. This is just like if you don't have a job at the moment and you just need some money in the meantime, ways that you can just go ahead and kick off making money for yourself without having to be employed by anybody, because sometimes you have restrictions, right? Like uh I know that some places like there aren't people hiring near you, or you just don't have places that you can work. Another one that I've seen is some people have felonies, so nobody will employ them.
Hmm.
I mean, I've seen people that are like just regular good people that have felonies because they just made one fucking mistake one time, and they can't work anywhere as a result of that. So this is kind of like a way for you to like just make money in the meantime until you find yourself a long-term solution. Or if you have a full-time job but you just want a little bit of extra money on the side, something that you can do to have like augment your income just a little bit. But um cool. So I don't know about you, Danny, but I have a couple of things that I did when I was in California and I was doing the whole hustle bustle thingy. But what yeah.
Yeah.
So have you ever used a delivery service like Uber Eats or anything like that?
Not usually, but I see it a lot here, man. It's crazy how much of those kinds of service there are, and not
There's a
just Uber Eats,
the
like
mhm.
different all sorts of different applications have come up since Uber Eats became like a really big deal, and now you see all these. All these bikes and stuff with like the branding of the apps and
Yeah.
stuff, and it's
Bikes like
crazy.
motorcycles or like bicycles?
I see a lot of motorcycles here. Is more motorcycles for
Motorcycles.
sure. Yeah.
Little tuk-tuks. No. But oh
Yes.
yeah, it's kind of roughly the same thing over here too. It's like it's astounding the laziness of people that are in their homes on a Saturday, huh? Like you don't want to get out of the house and you just want to stay in, watch some Netflix. It's Christmas season, you just want to sit there with your hot chocolate, but
For
you just want
sure.
yourself a little meal, so you go ahead and order something. Well, anyways, you're not gonna be enjoying that. You're gonna be the one delivering it. You are the
Yeah.
delivery boy, right? And so that's a great way to make money, by the way. Like jokes aside, right? There's so many people that want to stay home and order food. And just to preface this, I am at an office that's pretty far away from Austin's downtown, so I tend to order food on Uber Eats as well. So I'm a consumer of this, but I used to use DoorDash before in the past, because DoorDash was one of the first companies that allowed you to deliver food and drinks on a bicycle. So the
Nice.
great thing about this, right? One of the really great things about this is that you can do this flexibly. You can do this at any time. Now there are times where you have like peak hours and you have more orders coming in, and Uber Eats, DoorDash, Postmates, all these companies will give you different incentives at different times of the day depending on what the need is. So it's a good thing, a good idea, I think, to kind of find out what the schedule is and adapt to that. But yeah, it's a really great thing that you can do between jobs. And there are a couple of things that you need to have, before you go into it, though, right? You need a reliable method of transportation. For me, I lived in San Jose. San Jose is a fairly large city, right? So I could get around with just using a bicycle. So I had a bicycle and then I had a delivery backpack on. So those are two things that you need, like a method of transportation and a vessel to put the food that you pick up at different places in, without spilling the food. So those are really important things. I think a car is probably the most, is definitely the most common way that people deliver food. But you can definitely deliver food in a bicycle as well.
Yeah.
Um, and you know, I've also seen other places, like other countries, have different kind companies that provide the similar type of service, right?
Mm-hmm.
In Argentina, there was Pedidos Ya, right, which was a company that was very similar to Uber, or the Uber Eats side of Uber at least, and they provided roughly the same services. And I'm sure Europe, in different European countries, there's different kinds of services that you can do. So,
Yeah,
as long
definitely.
as yeah, I
Definitely.
mean, as long as the local economy is is all right. It's not like you're not like living in a like a like a war zone or something like that. I think most places have some sort of delivery app that you can use, and you make money in the meantime. So
Yep.
and so that kind of leads me to the next one, right? Is I know this is a service that you and I used a lot when we were in college, but not Uber Eats, but just Uber and Lyft.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You need a vehicle for this one, and I think a lot of people are very familiar with this. But picking people up at point A, taking people to point B, you make profit. That's it. It's you get paid as a contractor. This is by the way for both doing Uber Eats like delivery services and doing Uber and taking people from place to place, rideshare. Those both require you to register and take money from the companies as an independent contractor in the U.S. It's as a 1099, I think. Just
Mm.
a little heads up, because with those side hustles, you make money for every ride that you complete, every delivery that you make, but you accrue taxes that you have to pay at the end of the year. So it's really
Mm-hmm.
important to remember that the taxes that you have to pay,
Yeah.
those
No.
you have
No.
to
No.
pay at the end of the
That's
year.
for
So
sure.
make
Yeah.
sure that you
There's a
leave some
lot.
money aside.
Yeah.
I heard 30% of what you make is a pretty safe number for taxes that you might have to pay. Also, fun fact, if you make less than $400 in a year doing Uber Eats or DoorDash, you this isn't financial advice. Let me clarify this first of all. But this is what for at least with DoorDash, right? Whenever I was doing it, I didn't have to register my taxes because it was under 400 or $425, something like that. Take a look at whatever the figure is. Do your due research, but there is a certain point at which you have to start paying taxes, and if you're under that, then it's just kind of like you don't really. There's no really real way to enforce that. I don't think the government
Mm.
won't come looking for money to collect like $50 in taxes.
Yeah. 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 Exactly. It's not practical at all. Yeah. For
Yeah,
that side, we have something
yeah,
similar here as well. Like, I mean, yeah. I mean, they gotta get money somewhere somehow. They always find kind of a way, but generally, like if you're not making a certain up to a certain amount of money, then you yeah, they won't charge you for that.
yeah. It's not worth the hassle for them a lot of times.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the same with Uber and Uber Eats. I don't think I really have to hammer anything home with Uber and Lyft. I think most people understand roughly what that means. It's like being a taxi service, but you use an app instead. Very great way to make money interim. I know I've seen engineers in San Jose and Austin who use Uber and Lyft to make money.
Yeah.
I've also, this is a very interesting thing that I saw. This is like a side note. There was a guy doing Uber in a Tesla that I rode in this dude's car. This dude's Tesla.
Uh-huh.
I was confused because I was like, aren't you losing a lot of money, like depreciating value, with this vehicle? This is a fucking Tesla, man. And then He told me no. So Teslas retain the value of the vehicle very well. So like, you don't it doesn't depreciate in value like a lot of other cars. You just I think it has to do with the fact that it's electric. I'm sure. I mean, and but that's what he told me, and also that you can register here with the city of Austin to pay a specific sum of money to local government in order to be able to charge your Tesla, for free after that. So once you pay that initial upfront fee, I think he said it was something like ridiculously low. It was like $50 or something like that. If you pay $50 or whatever the sum was, then you can unlimitedly recharge your Tesla and make those trips. I thought that was really
Yeah.
interesting.
No, that yeah, that's that's a lot of saved money on fuel and stuff. We we used to have something like that, like for a recharging program for electric vehicles here in Portugal. I want to say all of Portugal.
Mm-hmm.
Not, I don't think it was just Lisbon, but yeah, essentially, like
Mm-hmm.
they you could recharge for free, like and that represented, okay, the electric cars, they're a little more expensive than the normal cars that run on fuel and diesel, uh,
Mm-hmm.
but the cost of fuel here in Portugal is so big, like it's so expensive
Mm-hmm.
that um, getting an electric car, you would save so much money in not having to pay for fuel constantly, So but I
Mm-hmm.
think now they ended that, which upset a lot of people who bought electric cars and thought, oh, this is gonna
Yeah.
last forever, you know. But
Yeah. Did did the government specify that it was gonna be for a specific amount of time, or did they just like, hey, this is a program that exists now, and they didn't really specify how long it's gonna be around for?
I don't think they specified the time. No, so I mean,
This is why people have trust issues, man. This is why people have trust issues.
dude, yeah, I mean, look, government, you to expect that it would last forever would be very wishful thinking, given our government.
Yeah.
Like the
Yeah.
thing that I was saying about the fuel, like the fuel is so expensive. Most of it is because of taxes, just the amount of money that goes into the government from the fuel is insane. Like the fuel is like 1.6 euros per liter. Um, that's you might 20 to 30% of that is probably going into the government. Uh, it's taxes, it's tariffs that they put on fuel and like things like that, which
Mm-hmm.
makes it super like it's a huge constraint, like for people to travel, for people to actually have a car and run it, like Spain is
Yeah.
like t- 3 or 4 times the size of Portugal, and fuel there is a lot cheaper than in Portugal.
I
People
see.
cross the border in order to get to fill up their cars in Spain, and then they come back to
Yeah.
Portugal. It's
Yeah. And these are all things that you have to like consider when doing these like different side hustles too, huh? Because if fuel is really expensive where you're at, then maybe you're better off using a bicycle to do deliveries instead of using a car to do them. So if you're in a place like Portugal where gasoline is really expensive, if you're in a but you're in a big city and maybe using like one of the motorcycles that you were talking about before, those are a lot more fuel efficient, I'm sure. So you
yeah,
doing deliveries on something like that is probably a good way to go, huh? What do you think?
yeah. No, like food delivery, like and ride sharing and stuff like that. those are really, it's a really convenient way to, like, just you get started, and you're
Mm-hmm.
immediately making money, like, with this with the deliveries, and with getting
Yeah.
people from point A to point B. It's just like these little constraints that you don't have any power over them. It's tomorrow the government can raise the,
Yeah.
the tax again. They've been
Yeah.
yes, the
I will say that's the same with a lot of different things too, though. Huh? It's like tomorrow they might. This is I don't want to stay on this one too long, this topic too long, because it's a big rabbit hole. But have you
yeah.
seen the whole thing here with like COVID vaccine mandates being a possible thing? And if you don't get one, I think it was like if you don't, for certain employers, or rather employers that meet certain criteria, have to have their workers vaccinated before
Mm.
they can return to the office, something along those lines. And if they're not vaccinated, then they cannot work legally, something like that. But you're even with an employed, like a full-time employment opportunity, the government can kind of screw you over. So it's like, I do want to
Yeah.
encourage people that, like, like, definitely think about what side gig you're gonna do and what the constraints might be going forward are. But if you just don't have money at the moment and you're not working, then as long as you're not investing like a huge sum of money, like you're not buying a car while you're unemployed in order to go do Uber Eats or something like that. That's probably not the smartest idea. Um, as long as you're
Mm.
not doing that, you might be better off buying something like a bicycle and then doing Uber Eats. But we have other other little ways to make money that I can think of too, right? Just
uh,
these are the big ones that a lot of people are doing. I wanted to get the obvious ones kind of out first.
yeah.
But Danny, have you ever met a hoarder? A person that hoards a bunch of shit?
Yeah, I think like half of my family is is kind of like that, me included.
There you go. There you go. So here's the thing, right? Is that you got platforms like Facebook Marketplace, like eBay, where you can sell a bunch of random shit that you have.
Mhm.
If you go through your closet and just clean out the shit that you have in there, it's like, I don't really need this, and just like make a pile of stuff that you don't really need and just sell on Facebook Marketplace, you could probably make a good sum of money doing just that. Unless you're like super minimalist like me and you just don't really have anything. I don't really have much to sell, to be honest. I have like a couple things here and there maybe. But yeah, I mean, selling your own stuff, selling your family's stuff, just like stuff that nobody's using within people that you like that are close to you, or like your own stuff in general. Really great way to make a buck quickly.
Yeah.
Now, here's the thing: is when I was in San Jose, I don't know if you remember this, Danny, but I was there was a hoarder friend of mine that lived in my neighborhood, and he had his entire 3-story house full of all this stuff that he just hoarded over the years, and his front yard was full
Damn.
of a bunch of stuff that he had hoarded over the years. So this guy was like you could make a TV show about this. It was insane.
Yeah.
Just the
That
amount of stuff that was there.
yeah.
Hoarders, yeah. There's a TV show, but yeah, he could have. It was ridiculous the amount of stuff that he had. So you know,
Yeah.
naturally, seeing that he had a bunch of shit, and he expressed to me that he didn't want to have all this shit because the city had come by at some points in the past and told him that he needed to clear off his lawn because it was making the neighborhood look bad.
Yeah.
So there was like a city ordinance out for the city mandated that he clean up his front yard and get rid of all of the shit there, which
Yeah.
is a government restriction that actually helped me because the fact that he needed to now get rid of all this shit made it so that I can sell that stuff for him on Facebook Marketplace and make a commission. So
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
would. So I started selling shit for him on Facebook Marketplace and making little portions of money. I negotiated like what, like a 20-30% commission or something. So all the stuff that was in his front yard that he wanted sold, I just listed on Facebook Marketplace because he didn't know how to use a phone. And so
Yeah.
I sold that shit for him. I communicated with the right people and I had them come over to his house and give him money to take that stuff away. Well, I made money doing that just based off of stuff that other people had. So if you see people that are hoarding like that, might be a good idea to just go knock on their door real quick and be like, "Hey, I see that you have a lot of shit. Do you want help getting rid of it?" If you see an opportunity like that, don't let it go. That's a prime way for you to make money. Just selling stuff that other people have that are hoarding stuff.
Yeah, and now
Do you have
there's
any? Mhm.
I was just gonna say now there's also so many types of apps that are just like marketplaces for those kind of secondhand things. You know, some very specific to, some are generals like the examples that you gave about eBay and stuff, like where you can like, there's everything over there, right? But there are others
Yeah.
that are, just clothing, secondhand clothing, or like electronics and appliances and stuff. So like also like consider like the big ones obviously, but also the small ones, and like what are the advantages of each one, like, and so you can get the most out of selling those
Hmm.
things. So yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's you definitely want to, depending on what you're selling, tailor and be choosy about what platform you sell these things on, or just use all of them too. That's another thing. Is just distribute, like put an entry out on eBay, on Facebook Marketplace, on like different like community apps, or just put an entry out saying like, hey, I'm selling this thing for this price. I think doing that on multiple different platforms is a better way to get attention overall. But it's just like the immediate one that really comes to mind is Facebook Marketplace. It's really really good for selling stuff quickly.
Yeah.
Um, but do you have any methods that you can think of that just kind of for making money that you do? I'm sure
I
like you have your like business gig that you're working on, which I mean maybe you should speak about that a little bit. It's a bit more permanent though, huh? It's a bit more like
My
it's a
business.
bit. Yeah, it's your business, so it's it's not like doing like an Uber Eats gig, but I mean like speak to that because I mean that's something that people can at
Yeah,
least try to get started up in the meantime.
I mean, you have to become an independent contractor as well, I guess, for this, for my, you're talking about my freelance gigs, yeah? Like,
Yeah, can you like kind of summarize it in a nutshell, more or less what you do?
yeah, so I'm a content creator and content marketing specialist for two clients, one of them being a legendary figure of video gaming history, and the other being like a record label, an extremely successful indie record label founder who now
Hmm.
teaches other people to how they can start their own independent labels. So, and most of what I do is just like create content for them, and I know that's that's a very general kind of thing to say, but it's really according to their needs, and it's, like landing pages, merch content, social media stuff, ads, you name it. It's just very overarching, I guess. I don't know if that's the right word, but
Yeah.
yeah, and obviously, like, then that's freelancing. Yeah, I guess in a nutshell.
Hmm.
I think what
Yeah.
what I would what we were saying about, like, being on the lookout for some of those constraints. I think, the constraints is um being being an independent contractor. You obviously are going to run into some you're going to have, like, responsibilities in terms of, bureaucracy that you're going to have to deal with on a regular basis, and the taxes and all of that, like keeping everything,
Mm-hmm.
organized, and so you don't miss anything, having a system set
Yeah.
up.
It sounds like you have to be very disciplined in order to do that, huh?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean,
Very
in many ways, in more ways than
and
one.
yeah, it sounds like you have to be responsible for a lot of things. You have to make sure that you have enough money to be able to pay your taxes. You have enough time to be able to give to all of your clients, and that you're responding to them according to their needs, and that's really important. I will say a lot of times people get insecure about like, oh, I'm not good enough to do it my own freelance gig. But here's what I found, right? That's what I used to think, and here's what I found is that a lot of people that need freelance marketing work or like freelance anything really, a lot of times it's not necessarily the fact that those people can't that need that work can't do it. It's just the fact that they don't have time to do the work that they need a freelance person to do because they're so busy doing other shit.
Yeah,
So
that's
it's
exactly
it's
right.
not yeah, it's just like they're like, yeah, I would love to make my own graphics, but I don't have time because I'm meeting with like all types of different people. And that's where you come in. You can make pretty simple graphics, right? Doing freelancing and still make all right money because what they need is they need someone that can deliver the results that they need, do the work that they need done, and someone that they can trust to do that because the trust factor I think in this is a lot bigger than the actual quality of work a lot of times, which is kind of weird to say because you would assume that like you want the best person to do your job, but a lot of times the best person to do your job is the person that you can trust rather than the person that does your job the best. So
True.
if someone asks you to do something and they tell you like this is the kind of work that I need, just try it out. Like don't be like I know you'll be scared, right? You're allowed to be scared, but just give it a fucking try. And if you suck, then you walk away with a couple extra dollars and the knowledge that maybe you shouldn't do that anymore. That's it. Like worst case scenario, you make some money and you walk away with some knowledge. Now, even if you get fucked over and they don't pay you, which by the way, if here's another side note, if you're gonna do a gig like that, make sure that they either sign something with you that obliges them to pay you money or accept payment up front because you want to make sure that they're either legally bound to pay you or that they have paid you already so that you get your money. That's really important.
100%, 100%, man. Like,
Mhm.
y- this is the thing. Sometimes we think, like, you know, undercutting or yourself, like, people want expect, like, some degree of professionalism, right, whenever they go for a freelancer, and like,
Mhm.
and sometimes we think, well, maybe I don't need, my fee doesn't have to be that high, or maybe this whole contract thing, we really don't need that because it's just a gig or something. That's totally not true. Like, you don't gain anything by doing that. Like, even if you think, like, some of those things, they seem too, I don't know, like, I don't, serious is not the right word, but like, you have to show that you are professional, and like, if if
Mm.
saying
Okay, I
that,
see.
if a person, like, thinks, uh signing a contract is too much, like then you probably don't want to work with that person anyways. You know what I mean? That's not
Yeah.
that's not going to be a good client for you. Like good clients respect professionalism and respect the responsibility of like signing a contract and like paying what you believe is a, you know, a a good fee, like a fee that, you know, represents the work that you're putting into it. And like if they don't
Yeah.
agree with it, they will walk away. But don't undercut
Absolutely.
yourself like just to try to get this one more gig, you know, just like that's
Yeah.
because that's really tempting, you know, like even myself, like I was, you know, trying to self myself short, you know, just in the hopes of getting my, like, you know,
Another gig.
yeah, hoping that would make a difference. And the mentality has to be the other way around, kind of, you know, because they
Yeah.
suspect, like they like, you're selling yourself so short. Maybe you're not that good, you know.
Yeah. And you know, it's funny that you mentioned that because literally yesterday, right, at my new job, which I'll do a whole episode about that eventually. But at my new job, right, we're listening to doing like a little training. It was like a Tony Robbins sales thingy. I mean, like Tony Robbins is cool and everything. So I mean, I
Yeah,
guess they had the entire office do this little Tony Robbins class thing, and we've been doing it for a little while. But you know, there's a really interesting thing that I heard in relation to that, right? Where it was you know, a lot of times if you make a deal too good to be true, then the person that the client is going to suspect that there's a catch somewhere. Right? Like, where's the catch? Like, this is too good to be true. Like, you're gonna provide all this work to me for like $7 an hour. Where's the catch? Like,
yep,
what? You're bullshitting me somewhere. Like,
yep, yep,
you're gonna be very very shitty at this, or like, what's you know? And so the thing is, like, it's really good to start upfront with like a higher, you know, like a higher price. You know, like demand what your time is worth, right? And or even more than that actually, and then they might come back at you with like a counter offer, or they might just accept the offer, depends. But you know, like I just quoted somebody some money the other day. I haven't told you this yet, Daddy. You
uh-huh.
know, the quote that I gave the dude, I think he probably I just sent him the quote for how much like this specific service is going to um cost him for me to do, for you and I to do, and he hasn't replied to me since. He probably thought that the price was too high, but you know what? I have a full-time job, and I my time has a numerical value to it when it comes to like dollars. And so if you want an hour of my time, then you have to give me this in compensation. If not, then I'm sorry, I just really can't work with you because I just don't have the time of day to do that. So,
Yeah,
it, like every hour that you're spending freelancing is another hour that you're not spending looking for your next job, because again, this is about when you're unemployed, or if you just don't have a job at the current moment, you're like between jobs, something like that. So if you know, if you're thinking about freelancing, then you have to really be careful with the amount of money that you're being paid to do the work that you're doing, because if you undercut yourself, then your hours might be better spent looking for a new job than to volunteer at working at like a miserable rate of money, you know?
yeah, absolutely, absolutely. You don't want to be stuck in something where you feel like you're being paid too little, you know, and
Hmm.
then it's like
Especially in
uh,
a dire situation like that.
yeah, and yeah, it's just a lot easier if you're just you know, sincere with yourself, you know, like this is what my time represents, and I'm not gonna sell myself shorter than that. I'm not,
Mhm.
and yeah, and yeah. I mean, freelancing is one way to, as you were saying, like being in between jobs. Like freelancing is a very good way to, like, kind of soften the blow of being without a job, and like at the same time, you're not idle. Does that make sense? You're still doing
Yeah.
stuff. You still remain active in the area that you want to work on, and that, I think, that is also a positive aspect for, like, employers, whenever if you're still looking for a job beyond your freelancing stuff. So
Yeah. Absolutely.
yeah,
And you know,
say.
like another I was gonna say like another thing that I recommend doing, right? This is kind of getting a little bit outside the realm of freelancing because it's not really like professional work. But maybe put an ad up for like, hey, if you need muscle on a fucking project, like I don't know, if you want help moving shit, then contact me. Something like that. Where like just look on different like odd job boards, like you can go on
Mm-hmm.
Craigslist or something like that and look for different gigs. That's something that you can do. Like this is just like a job for the day. Like I need help painting the house, so here, like I'll give you like a paint roller and some paint, and then you just go to town, and then like you just at the end of the day, like we'll give you like what your money for painting the house basically, or something like that. Like it doesn't have to be like a you don't have to you always ideally want to be building something that is going to be more permanent, but sometimes if you just need to make ends meet, a lot of
Yeah,
times there's people that are like, hey, I just need some people to do a job for me for the day, and I'll pay you good money because I can't find anybody else to that wants to work for a day. You want to come over to my place and paint my house, and I'll pay you $200 for like 6 hours of work, something like that. Then that's there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. I mean, 6 hours of work, $200. That's something that I've realistically heard people making just painting a house for the day. Now, you can't paint people's houses every single day because it's like limited in the amount of like work that you can do for that, right? So it's not like a permanent gig, and it's not like a business that you have.
yeah,
Unless you're thinking about starting like a painting, like a house painting, commercial painting business. That's a whole different story. But if you're just like helping people move furniture or paint a house or just clean or something like that, that's something that you can do. You can just look for odd gigs just to make ends meet. And also, you're getting paid under the table, so that's untaxed money right there. So you're
for
just
sure. Yeah,
getting cash, money, for the work that you're doing. So
yeah, that's
um,
cash in your hand that nobody can take it from you. So yeah,
precisely,
that there's definitely a
precisely.
positive aspect there. Yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
just don't tell daddy government. That's it. Just shh. I mean,
right.
like, okay, if you're making like, if you start a business and like you're making good money off of a gig, maybe you want to start reporting that kind of stuff because then you don't want to get fucked later on if you have something permanent that you're building. But most of the time, yeah, it's just
Yeah.
like $200 here and there. No one's gonna say anything. Just pocket it. It's fine.
Yeah, yeah,
This is not financial
exactly.
advice. This is not financial advice. It's just what I would do.
No, yeah, that's
But
fair. That's fair. I mean, yeah, like, yeah, it's a one-time thing. It's not your full-time job or anything. So, I totally get it. I think, in
yeah,
terms, like, you were saying, like, you were giving the examples of, like, things that it's not a permanent kind of thing. It's more like you need the money, you go and do this, and that's it. You get the cash right there. Um,
yeah,
I think in terms of more permanent stuff, and this is this is something that you don't have to do full time, or you don't have to be spending all your time dedicated into it, you can start, just very, just as a side thing, a side gig that you have, and then
Mm-hmm.
see if it grows.
Yeah.
And it's things that, like if you're more of a creative kind of person, you have websites where you get paid to do your creative stuff. So like you can sell your say you like writing, okay? So like writing, just anything from blog posts to like short stories and just articles about stuff in general.
Oh, I see. Like non-commissioned content creation, basically, where like you're creating content that people can buy that you arbitrarily create. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I was gonna give the example of Medium. So like where you create the content, yes, and if your content gets read and gets upvoted and things like that, then that will translate into royalties, and basically you're gonna get a share of, I think, what is the because
Revenue.
on Medium you have like free accounts and like paying members, and
Yeah.
basically
Oh, I
you're
see.
gonna
Yeah,
get
yeah,
a,
yeah.
a cut from the whole, from a
The
very
pie
very big
from the
cake.
pie.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're gonna get a little sliver of the pie
Yeah,
of the pooled money.
but when you start, it can be like, like you might not even make money on the first month or two, but
Mm-hmm.
getting enough traction, you'll find yourself making, 2, 3, maybe even 4 digits a month, and
Yeah.
that's money. That's money right there. Like if once you make 4 digits, that's, it's tough. Okay, like very few people make that much money, but it's one way of making money while at the same time working on a what is your passion, I guess, if your passion is writing. And
Yeah.
if your passion is music, there are websites where you can like sell your tracks, your instrumentals,
Mm-hmm.
or just even samples like Splice. Splice, you can just make a package of like sounds that you make and
Yeah.
sell it and make money with that, and you're still
Yeah.
you know
Or shit, dude. Like if you have projects that you've already worked on because those projects are your passion, like things that you've already done,
uh-huh.
created. Like you can just take those things and you're like, okay, well, this is something that I made a while ago. I really like this piece, but I'd be willing to share it with everyone else and like let people use it in their other projects and have people pay for it instead. And you can put on a platform like that. Like I have a friend of mine that makes compositions, and he took some of his music that he made and he put it onto a platform that people can use, and so that people can use his music on their personal projects that they're working on. So he just monetized stuff that he had created in the past. So it's kind of like the same mentality as I was telling you about going through your closet and selling stuff that you don't need. It's
Mm-hmm.
kind of similar to that, where it's like, well, this is a project that I made in the past, and I'm not using it for anything, so I might as well put it on a marketplace somewhere and try to make some revenue off of it. That's kind of the idea there.
Yeah.
So and I think that if you have things like that, just little pieces that you've done, it's not a bad idea to put that on different marketplaces. I will say my knowledge when it comes to what platforms are used to sell what kind of content, that knowledge is very shallow for me, so I can't tell you what platforms that people go to for that, but I'm sure there is a huge market for people that need content to use for their personal projects.
Yeah, I mean, I can give you
But
some pointers, like, in terms of, obviously
yeah, please.
Medium is the big one for like writers, I mean,
Mhm.
but as you were saying, like, for like the example that you gave now of reusing your content, like for 6 or 7 years, I was in a writing community, online. So, and like we, I have like things that I could repost on Medium,
That you
and
had written in the past.
yeah, that I wrote over the course
Okay.
of these 6 or 7 years, and now I'd be making money with them because in the community, it's all just for shits and giggles.
Yeah.
But now in on Medium, you are exposing your content to a number of people that actually pay to read the stuff that's on Medium, and
Sure.
yeah, you could be making money.
Yeah.
Uh,
You're
very
monetizing content that you already have. But
yeah.
I mean, besides Medium, do you have any other, like, for other types of content, like places, like
For
where are the other places that
for
you
other
post that kind of content?
for other types of content, I would say, so for music stuff, I would
Mm-hmm.
say Splice, and
Mm-hmm.
maybe Artlist if you can sign up as a creator of
Mm-hmm.
content. There's for graphic stuff, there's I guess Artlist also does graphic stuff, but there's also Envato elements. If you become a creator, you can create content for that as
Mm-hmm.
well. Like like fonts, just illustrations, icons. There's people that they live off of that. Just making content for those kind of marketplaces, and getting the dividends from that. Just like if you're a typographer, or like a font, you like if you do, for all you do is design fonts, that's a place where you can sell your fonts, for example,
Mm-hmm.
and just make money off of that, because you're getting a cut of whenever your stuff is being downloaded and used by other people who pay to have access to those things. So, um, well, what else? One thing, I will give an example. So, like, and this is also another alternative that I'm gonna mention, which is drop shipping, starting a
Oh,
drop
yeah.
shipping business.
Yeah. Much more permanent, a little bit more time intense and investment intensive, probably.
Yeah,
Yeah, it is a
which
great option though. I will say before you go on with it, I do recommend with dropshipping, you might only do that if you have like a good sum of money already, and you also or you're employed in the current moment, just because of the upfront cost of it.
definitely, and I would actually like to share the story of what has been the struggle to start Kevin Tom's store, okay,
Okay.
of merch store.
Actually, do you want to define what dropshipping is first?
Yes. So basically, you have a online store where
Mm.
you uh, sell, you know, different kinds of goods, products. But
Mm.
you're not producing yourself the products. You just act as a sort of mediator, between
Mm.
a supplier of those products and the consumer who buys through your store. So you don't have, the business is formatted so you don't have to hold on to stock. You can even brand the products, uh, sometimes, depending on the supplier and the product. You can brand those products to so to your brand, and sell them as if you were the one basically producing
Yeah.
those products.
Attach a product to a brand so that you can sell the product easier.
Yeah,
Is the idea here, right? Yeah.
and it's and
And so,
it's produced kind
mhm.
of, well, so I guess some people can like, if you're of a large scale, you can work having stock, but you don't hold the stock yourself. It's like with the supplier that they have some sort of service that you can where they hold
Yeah.
on to the stuff. But mostly
Yeah.
what you will
And
see with the drop shipping
mhm,
is on demand production of and supplying of goods, which is
absolutely. Yeah, I mean
really
like something like during Christmas, you might have like Christmas lights that that might be something that you have more of, or like if you're coming up on like kind of like Thanksgiving, for example, like you might have like meat thermometers are now things that people need because they don't have meat thermometers and they need it for the turkey or something like that. But uh play like the most notable place to do that I think is Amazon, right? I can't think of a bigger place than Amazon to do drop shipping, and so Amazon drop shipping is a very big thing nowadays. It's like a big like a side hustle boom.
hmm
It's probably one of the biggest things in terms of like a more permanent side hustle. But
yeah, yeah.
I mean I've heard of people making like close to like thousands of dollars a month doing drop shipping. And as long as you know your shit and you do your research for what kind of products that you buy inventory in, and what kind of things are going to sell, and you have like a good idea of what's going to sell, then yeah, you can make a ton of money doing drop shipping for sure. But
Yeah,
can
yeah.
you can you talk about the I think this is like the last thing to talk about because I do have to go to work soon, but um the experience that you've had with the drop shipping thing with Kevin, I'm actually very curious
That
about
yeah,
that.
it's because yeah, now you mentioned that you really have to do your research like and like be very aware of things that even go beyond what are the regular considerations when when you think about starting a drop shipping business. Because the idea was we're gonna make we're gonna use Shopify and start a online store that just sells Kevin Tom's merchandise and football manager merch. That's printed on demand. We have suppliers here in Europe that can do that. Which is and the idea you always think like you get once you get the suppliers set up and the designs and all that, then it's good to go. It's like but we actually ran into a lot of constraints with that model of business, with the drop shipping model of business, because there's a lot that's on the shoulders of the people who have that run the online store, right? So and basically what first of all we went into a lot of trouble just to find the right supplier for the right
Mm-hmm.
stuff and but what really kind of killed that idea of doing it like that with the Shopify store and stuff was Brexit. Well, basically, because of the customs and all the charges, that and all the paperwork that would go on into that, and the absurd amount of
Was a
money and
supplier in the UK or what's up?
see, that's the thing. Drop shipping back when the UK was still in the EU. Drop shipping was huge in the UK. Huge. Like a lot of these suppliers that do print on demand stuff are based in the UK, and they did a lot of their business was not just with UK uh, online stores, but also with European Union dropshippers as well. The thing
Mm.
that happens in Kevin's instance is, Kevin is currently living in the European Union outside of the UK, so the online store is technically outside of the UK, which really gets into a conflict with
Gotcha. So
the
you ran
supplier.
to constraints because of customs going from country to country, and since Brexit is a thing, I guess the customs between the EU and the UK is a lot tighter now after Brexit. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yes, yeah, yes,
Yeah.
definitely. So, what I really recommend if you're thinking about starting a dropshipping business, which is just for like print on demand stuff like clothing and home accessories, and like like mugs
Hmm.
and things like that.
Yeah. I also want to
Find
say one thing.
Yeah,
If you're doing this drop shipping in the US, the constraints are a lot looser. There's not as many constraints. If you're because I know a majority of our listeners are based in the US, so you don't have to worry about that. This I don't think nearly as much, but you do definitely want to consider that if you're outside of the US, because the market might not be as big, and you might not have people that it might not be like the U.S. where it's a country where you can drop ship within the country. You can have the manufacturer, or like the people that brand the specific items and distribute them within the same country. I just wanted to say that for the U.S. listeners, but please go ahead.
yeah. I mean, just don't sell to the UK because it's a can of worms. But
Okay.
what what's the alternative that we found was just you know find a platform where they take care of all those constraints for you, basically. So instead of having our own store where we are handling the drop shipping and we have to be hands on with all the bureaucracy, all the paperwork, all the stuff, you create your content and sell it on a platform that handles it all for you. Uh, and the platform that we found in our case was Redbubble, which
Oh, Redbubble's great. I use Redbubble for a lot of stuff.
yeah, okay, so you know that.
I'm a
So
consumer, dude. I'm a consumer. I'm definitely a consumer of Redbubble. I love
you're a
their stuff.
consumer. Okay, so
Yeah.
yeah, like very easily you can start. We went on this for months. Like we were trying to get this on this Shopify store running for months, uh, and we just couldn't because every time we thought we were close to opening it, there was some other thing that came up, and it's just like, fuck. Now we're gonna
Mhm.
have to
But
start it from
Redbubble
scratch.
Redbubble kind of helped with those problems. Like what, like from like thinking from the perspective of someone looking to start like a Redbubble venture, so to speak, or just like a Redbubble drop shipping side gig. Um, how would they go about doing that? I do have to go in about like 10 minutes, like five, probably 5-7 minutes or
Okay,
so.
okay, okay. Very quickly, all you do is basically is you upload the graphics that you have to Redbubble,
Mm-hmm.
the designs. You pick which articles of clothing or accessories or whatever they have,
Mm-hmm.
where that design is going to be present. Which articles are you going to sell, and with a few clicks and information that you give, it's up and running, and you're selling on Redbubble basically, which saves you so much, and you don't have to worry about shipping costs and stock anything. Redbubble handles it all for you. You don't have to worry about anything. Just have your financial information all set, and make sure that yeah, that's all set, and that's it. You're selling your stuff, and obviously it's not your store. You don't have that sense of control and possession. But it's actually like detrimental, I think, in our situation it would have been, for sure, because all the responsibility and financial costs and stuff would be on us. So
I
yeah.
see, I see. So it sounds like Redbubble is like a good place to get started with drop shipping. Maybe it's kind of like an intro piece, and maybe if you're like, okay, well, my content is very heavily branded now. and I can make my own store on Shopify and sell it, sell my content, through sell my merch basically through Shopify instead. Maybe you can make the transition, but maybe just to start off, Redbubble might be a better place to do that than Shopify, huh? Is that what do you
For
think?
sure,
Is
for
that a fair
sure.
assessment?
Because even to get started on Shopify, you have to there's costs. Like Shopify will cost you money just having the platform and having your stores
Yeah.
set up on Shopify will cost you money. On Redbubble, it's free. You can create a free account. It's free. You just start and then you get a markup. You get a margin of what the products are sold for, and that's it. You put zero money into starting your business on Redbubble. So
That's
uh,
good. Yeah, it sounds like a good way to get started with drop shipping. It's like it sounds like a low barrier of entry and a good thing that you can do on the weekends, or if you're financially set for a little while but you're between jobs or something, then that's probably not a bad time to work on, like put stuff on Redbubble. Or if you just have content already that you've created that you can monetize, you can just put it on Redbubble and see if anything sticks. But
yeah,
yeah,
absolutely. Yeah.
cool. Well, anyways, do you have any last words before we finish up the podcast? Because yeah, it's been a pleasure, but I have to go to work now.
No, yeah, no, I get you, man. I mean, it's just go get money. That's my advice. Yeah, let's
Go
go
get
get
money.
money.
I'll tell you what. In tribute to you today, I will get you. I will book a meeting, a consultation with a new prospect today. Uh,
Nice.
just for you. That is my commitment to you, Danny.
Okay, bro. Thanks.
Uh,
Thanks. Yeah.
cool. All right. Well, there you are, guys. As always, thanks for listening to the podcast. Get us our Instagram. It's Broklahomies Podcast. BROKLAHOMIES That's our Instagram. That's realistically, you can go there, or you can go to our Facebook, which is Broklahomies Podcast as well. Right now we don't have the website up. It's just we weren't really using it for anything, so we decided to take just to kind of discontinue the website. But yeah, I mean, we're still using our social media platforms because we do need those for outreach. So make sure to reach out to us there, send us a message, say hi, give us
Yeah.
feedback on what you think could have been better, or what you really liked about the podcast, and give us suggestions for things that we can do next. I asked you to do a lot of things, so instead of, you can do all of those things, or if you're short on time, just do this one thing for me. Go to the Instagram page and like us. Just do that. Do that one thing. If nothing else, do that one thing. Go to Instagram page and like us. And I say like us. Follow us. Follow us. I feel like a boomer now because I just said like us. It's not Facebook. It's fucking Instagram. But you get the point. Go on go on our Instagram page. Follow us, and yeah, we'll be posting content on there. So until then, Danny, you want to take us out? Like one last word, something
Mm,
to Kevin Toms.
biscuits and gravy.
Biscuits and gravy. There we go. All right, I'll see y'all.